everybody, my name is Tanya and I thought it was about time that I checked in on my 2015 reading goals. So back at the end of 2014 I uploaded a few different reading goal videos where I set myself different goals that I was trying to achieve or wanting to achieve in 2015, and it's now nearing the end of August and I thought it was probably time to revisit those goals and make sure that I'm on track. So I had a few major challenges that I had set myself for 2015 and then a few smaller things. The first one that I spoke about was my school books challenge. So 2015 marks 10 years since I finished high school, and so I've been meaning to reread my school books for quite a while, and I thought it would be nice to tie it in with that 10-year anniversary. And I've had mixed success with this one. I have been reading the books, but I've fallen completely flat on the filming of the videos about the books. I was planning on having kind of year wrap-ups for everything that I've read for certain years in school, and that just kind of didn't happen. So at the moment I am partway through my year 11 books, so I have made really good progress, although it's the later years that have more books to read. And so I think I've still got 11 books to read for this challenge before the end of the year, and you know, I'm really not all that fussed. So it is a perfect year to do this, being my 10-year anniversary, but at the same time there's so many other things that have been happening this year. I've been doing quite a lot of buddy reads, and I'm feeling like that's more important at the moment, and to be interacting with other people and enjoying booktube and bonding with others and participating in those buddy reads, I'm finding more important than this solo project. And so while I am still interested in reading all of those school books at some point, I'm giving myself an out now, and I may end up still reading them in this year, but I'm giving myself a little bit of an out at the moment and saying if I don't make it, I'm really not all that fussed. But of everything else that I'm wanting to do this year, this is taking a smaller and smaller priority in my mind, and if I don't achieve this one, that's going to be okay. So the next challenge that I set myself is something that I definitely do want to finish this year, and there's no excuses about that, and that is my BookTube Recommends project. This is the one where I got 12 different booktubers to recommend a book to me. This is started by Rachel at the Shades of Orange, and then I saw Ellen from Ellen Reads Books do it as the 12 books in a year, and I got 12 amazing recommendations from 12 amazing booktubers, and I am on track with this one. I was a little bit behind last month and I didn't actually read my July book in July, but I've read my July and August books in August now, so I am back on track, although I am behind at filming the review videos for that at the moment, which I'm hoping to fix this weekend as well. So I've got 4 more of those to read this year, and I don't see any reason why I'm not going to complete this. In fact, I'm going to make sure that I do. My next fairly major goal, and one that you've again heard me speak about a lot, is my Agatha Christie project, and that is something I'm in my 4th year now, I think, that I'm reading all of Agatha Christie's works chronologically, and I've been reading 12 a year, but last year I wasn't very strict with myself and I got to the end of the year and had a big clump of them that I had to read because I hadn't been reading them regularly throughout the year. So this year I wanted to make sure I read 1 a month, and so far I'm sticking to that. I have had a couple that I've read it on the last day of the month, and I think the last one I kind of finished maybe half an hour into the next month because I stayed up really late that night finishing it. But I think it counts. So at this stage I am on track for that one, and again this is one that I will make sure I complete for the year. Will you sit down? So going to my slightly smaller challenges, although some of them probably aren't. My Goodreads reading goal this year I set at 80 books, and I have already completed that one, so I'm feeling good about that. I completed this during Booktubeathon week. I had set it at 80 books, and I was expecting that I would probably read more than that, but I didn't want to pressure myself. My kind of secondary goal for that one is to hit the 100 point. I'm not going to adjust it. I'm happy that I've hit the 80 and I'm not going to make any adjustments to my Goodreads goal. That was just kind of an arbitrary figure put in there. It doesn't really matter what the figure is, and I'm not worried if I don't get to the 100 either. But 80 was what I set it at, and that goal is achieved. Now I've spoken in and around this, and I still haven't filmed a video about it, and I don't even know what's wrong with me. I've been doing this for over a year. I call myself ListObsessedReader, and I haven't done a video about the list that I'm most obsessed with. How is this even possible? I am obsessed with the 1001 Books You Must Read Before You Die list, and this year I'd set myself the goal of reading 25 books from the list because I was on 250 at the end of last year. I wanted to get to 275 this year, so next year I can set it at 25 again and get to 300, which sounds like an amazing milestone. This has not necessarily been going so well. So far this year I've only read 8 books from the 1001 Books You Must Read Before You Die list. 8 out of the 25 I wanted, so I've got 17 more 1000 books to read in the last 4 months of the year. So I better get on that. Again, if this one doesn't happen, it doesn't matter. It's just a figure that I put out because, you know, hitting that milestone next year would be great. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. but I would like to get a little bit closer at least, because 8 read, 17 to go is not the greatest of splits. So I can see some smaller 1,000 books in my future. The next challenge I had was another list related one, and that is the 30 books you must read before age 30, which I have made an individual video about, which I will link down below. So I've got 2.5 years before I reach 30, and to kind of keep on track, I needed to read 3 books this year, and I have read 0 books this year. So back in May, I think, I started the Complete Stories of Flannery O'Connor, and I have been hopeless at that, and it's just ridiculous because I was really enjoying it, and I so want to read more by Flannery O'Connor, and every time Erica talks about her I just get really enthused about it, but I just haven't been picking it up. So I need to start putting that back on my radar and start reading more books by her, and then 2 more sometime before the end of the year. Again, if it doesn't happen, it's okay, but the years until I reach 30 are shrinking, and I've got some big books left on that list, so I had better think about that soon. Then the next challenge I had was to do with the Book Riot Quarterly Box, and I'm sure you are groaning because I've spoken about that so much this year, and I finally stopped talking about it, but here I am again. So the Book Riot Quarterly Box, as I've spoken about before, my thing that I set myself, if I was going to subscribe to it and pay that money to get it shipped to Australia, that I would have to read everything that came in the boxes, preferably before the next box came, and I was having a bit of trouble with that. I finally caught up on this one, although I do have 2 books from the latest box that I haven't read, and I think the next one ships in early September. It's now late-ish August, so I better read those 2 books soon. Although I do have a bit of leeway with the shipping to Australia, it can take quite a while to get here. But that better go as a priority for early September. But instead of being like 3 boxes behind, I'm now only kind of at the current box, and I'm not behind yet. I've still got time, so I count this one as a win so far. And then the last thing I spoke about in that 2015 reading goals video was something that I was tempted to join in on, but was kind of holding back from it. And I think I am kind of just going to step away from this one, and that is the Book Riot Read Harder Challenge, which was a list of different goals to try and tick off throughout the year. Now, I was going to wait until kind of mid-year and then see how many I'd achieved, and maybe try and make it a bit more targeted to pick out things to hit those challenges at that point. I haven't done that yet. Probably there are quite a few that I've ticked off, but I know that there are some things on the list that I'm not so enthused about, and I with all the other things that I'd like to read this year, I don't want to put that pressure on myself. So I think I'm going to bow out of the Book Riot Read Harder Challenge, but I will link it down below for anybody who's interested. Basically, I am right on track with some reading goals. Other ones need a little bit of work, but in general, I'm not going to beat myself up about it. Basically, my goal to myself is enjoy it. Enjoy reading, enjoy interacting, and just read what happens. So let me know down in the comments if you set yourself any reading goals for this year and how you're going and what you think about reading goals. Do you really care? Do you like them? Is it too much pressure? And as always, thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!